أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. We welcome our friends in South Africa, the United States, and around the world to this week's edition of A Conversation with El-Hajj Mauri Saalakhan. I'm pleased to be your host, coming to you once again through the Salam Media Network out of Johannesburg, South Africa. Salam Media is an online portal for humanitarian journalism. We don't just report the news, we advise you on what you can do about it. Today's conversation is with immigration attorney Khalilah Sabra. Our focus for today's discussion will be a dialogue on justice through an immigration lens. A dialogue on justice through an immigration lens. That famous line from the Emma Lazarus sonnet, that poem, that poetic verse that is found at the base of the Lady Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, I should say, in New York's harbor. It reads, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. Now, in contrast to this very noble symbolism, the reality on the ground in today's America is very different. A reminder that we have two Americas, as J. William Fulbright so ably noted in his thought-provoking book titled The Arrogance of Power. He described the two Americas. Now, before the conversation begins for today, I want to share a little note on the death of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. His passing has understandably garnered a lot of attention, both here in the United States and abroad over the past week. We have a piece of video that is a reflection of who Senator Graham really was. Let's see that video, Brother Sadiq.
Since October 7th, many people in this part of the world say what happened in Gaza does not align with Christian values. Killing children, killing mothers,
I'll be honest
killing
with
families
you.
who are not militants.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Why?
Because what did we do in World War II? Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city into smithereens? So this is a war. No,
October 7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel's
And then
survival,
they flattened Gaza.
just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror? Were we? So my view, if I were Israel, I would have probably done it the same way. Without military victory, there is no hope of breaking radicalism. We flattened Germany. We flattened Japan.
How many Americans
Wait a
believe
minute.
this?
Out of that,
How many Americans think the way that you do?
I think most Republicans think the way I do.
Even young ones.
Yeah, you're just out of touch if you don't understand Republicans, when it comes to radical Islam, is on Israel's side. It's not even close.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this is who he really was. This is who Lindsey Graham was. And it's for this reason that the overwhelming majority of sentiment in the United States of America has been a reflection of good riddance. We're glad he's gone. Before the conversation, I just had to take a moment to just, I mean, I've seen that video 2 or 3 times and selected it to be shown in the early part of this broadcast, but still it you know, the venom that was in the heart of this man, it still troubles me deeply. And I'm among the overwhelming majority that is glad that he's gone, and may he receive all that he deserves. With that being said, ICE has once again demonstrated a shoot first and verify later policy. And inshallah ta'ala, the guest that we have for today, Sister Khalilah, we're going to be discussing some of these disturbing scenarios in our conversation, no doubt. But you know, before we bring her on, I want to share just, you know, 2 pieces of recent carnage. It's the only term I can appropriately use for it. Carnage that has taken place on the streets of America at the hands of men and some women who have been given badges and guns. There's a young man who was shot and killed by ICE in Maine just a few days ago. His name is Johann Sebastian Guerrero, the 26-year-old Colombian. An ICE agent shot him in the head and then proceeded to drag his limp body out of the car in front of his partner and their screaming 3-year-old child. Guerrero was reportedly in the U.S. legally. He had authorization to work with his own social security number. He was just 26 years old, murdered by U.S. government agents. And then we have, within the relatively speaking same time frame, the death of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, a 52-year-old Mexican immigrant who was shot to death in Texas while on his way to work. Now, both of these victims were law-abiding, hard-working family men who committed no crimes, simply immigrants of the wrong shade in that other America. With that being said, let's go to our first commercial break, Brother Saalakhan, so that we can have some uninterrupted conversation with our guests for today.
More than 800 million people around the world live in deep poverty, uncertain of where the next meal will come from. For those on the brink of starvation, a food pack means survival, dignity, and hope. Send food. Send kindness. Be the reason a family does not go hungry. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Hey Gulam,
Yeah?
did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bye, you didn't.
Oh no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Rendry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Rendry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Rendry Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Tonight, a child in a shack will try to sleep through the cold. No heating, no insulation, just thin walls and a biting cold. African Muslims Agency is on the ground, reaching families in informal settlements across South Africa with blankets and winter essentials. Help us spread warmth this winter. For 180 Rand, give a blanket. For 360 Rand, the full winter pack. One gift, one less night in the cold. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, my sister Khalilah, Sabra, and I are about to have a dialogue on justice through an immigration lens. Let us welcome her to today's conversation. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Khalilah.
Alaikum salam. How are you?
That's good. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. I'm glad to see you, and I'm looking forward to this conversation we're going to have, inshallah. Let's begin with you. Share with the audience a little about yourself. How long you've been practicing immigration law, and what led you to make this decision to go into this area of law.
Well, I thought that immigration law is one of the most relevant parts of American law because you deal with the humanity of others and you attempt to protect others sometimes that are unable to protect themselves. And when I've thought about it and about why these things occur, I came to certain conclusions. Just like you were speaking about the people that were killed that were innocent victims. Mm-hmm. And I began to think about the big picture and how easy it was to shoot people dead. And I think when a government uses its military to attack a country that has never harmed it, it is usually doing a favor for a powerful ally or trying to maintain global control. And to justify this, leaders create a strong us versus them mindset, framing people in other lands as a threat. And over time, I believe this aggressive habit of using force doesn't just stay abroad. It bleeds into how the government rules here at home. Now, police forces began adopting the same heavy-handed military gear and battlefield tactics to target vulnerable populations like immigrants by labeling them as outsiders who do not belong. So finally, this violence expands to regular citizens who stand up for those immigrant rights, because the government is now used this power to crush anyone who opposes its goals. And it reframes its own dissenting citizens as traitors and internal enemies, using domestic law enforcement to silence and to protect its own power. Now, I thought about it a lot these days and how these situations occur. We know that when a government possesses far more power than the people, digital tracking becomes invisible, and permanent shadows that follow us everywhere, every location and conversation is quietly recorded. It intimidates citizens, and they're subject to the hands of the state. No one likes to be seen. Unseen surveillance changes how we act, how we think, because knowing that our data can be stored forever means our true privacy rights no longer exist. Now, for me, when the state can see everything I do while remaining completely hidden itself, the very fabric of my intense personal freedom is stripped away. And it seems like that we are now in a crisis situation, because governments and police forces use everyday technology, street cameras, to build a detailed map of our lives. And even when you attend a protest, facial recognition cameras on buildings scan the crowd. And at the same time, these other devices can trick your phone into revealing, its unique digital signature. Now, digital trackings can be often used to prevent harm or to investigate something like murder. And that fact must be acknowledged. But when it affects the right to protest and creates an invisible wall of fear that stops people from speaking out, then there is a serious problem when it comes to constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm.
So, mhm.
Okay, tell me this: how long have you been practicing law, and how has immigration law changed? How has it changed since you first began practicing this area of law to where we are today?
I think I started practicing immigration law about, let's see, 2000, let me see, maybe 2015. And from the beginning, at first I was just an accredited representative. And when you go into the courtrooms, the attorney for the government shows very little respect for you. But it's different when you become an attorney. But like where I live in North Carolina, the immigration court only approves 10% of the cases. So basically, it's saying people that seek intervention from having to suffer in their countries are not going to be approved for any asylum or any other benefits. I don't have, what I do is usually try to make sure that my cases are so strong and so tight, so that when they go to the interview, they are approved, which means they don't have to go to immigration court. Because in immigration court, it becomes very difficult to become approved. And Charlotte was so difficult. the times that I have been there that I said I would never go there and do a case, because you can do cases now virtually from all over the United States. In fact, one of the judges took me back into his chambers and he said, I want you to know something. And I was surprised because he knew the terminology. He goes, you are the only woman, Muslim woman or Mahajaba that I've ever seen in immigration court. That means you have to be better than the rest. You have to be prepared and better than the rest. And he was very honest, and he gave me the best advice that he can, because there is prejudice, not prejudice just against the client, but prejudice against the attorney. So the only way to overcome for that client is to present the strongest case that you can. But if it's in an area that only gives 10 to 12% of approval rate, then that's going to be a problem. Whereas if you had a case in New York, you have a 50-50 chance. Most of the judges approve cases from 35, maybe 40% to from 40%. And other states are the same way. Sacramento, they approve 75% of their cases. So it's all about attitude. It's about ethnic racism, and it's a system that I think has been built on injustice. And now, since the Trump administration came into office, he has detained 5 times more than he did in the past administration. The past administration was not really kindly to immigrants either, despite what the past president said. So it's like climbing a ladder that you can easily slide down. And we have women who are victims of human trafficking from Honduras, from Colombia. And it shocks me how easily judges are willing to send them back to where they were exploited and sexually abused. And the only way to stop that deportation is to file in federal court. And so we're doing that now. But, emotionally, it's very sad. It's exhausting, but you're obligated to advocate for your client to the best of your ability. And it's not easy. It's not going to be easy for me, and it's not going to be easy for Americans, but our path forward must look complicated and unpredictable, but there is a deliberate purpose for every step that we're taking. We're taking a step toward justice. What looks like confusion is actually highly intentional strategies designed to get us to our goal. And we cannot wait anymore. Despite the difficulties of standing by people who are innocent, who came to this country for relief, I think that we're going to have to stand up, and we're going to have more podcasts and television shows like yours. But we need to create an American spirit that recognizes our identity, that is fundamentally rooted in constitutional rights that people aren't receiving. Even anyone on the soil from another country is entitled to constitutional rights. It's not just about citizens. It's about the individual's right to be safe and to be acknowledged. I think too many Americans struggle to ignore the cruelty of innocent people. But the struggle will not be overcome by being detached and waiting for your neighbor to do something instead of yourself. I think it can only be won by the actions of people, by men and women who commit themselves to what they truly believe in for the right causes.
So you're referring, of course, to those of us in the public, the observers of the injustices that are being committed in our names. Those of us who are citizens of this country.
Yes.
You're encouraging more of us to stand up and challenge the injustices that we're seeing. And of course, this is no doubt, this is what has to happen. And to a large extent, alhamdulillah, from what I can see, this is happening with greater and greater frequency in different parts of the country. And this is something that I know gives me room for optimism. I mean, I'm quite certain that you, even being closer to this challenge, far closer than I am, being, having been immersed in it for as long as you have, I'm hoping that you too are feeling some optimism by what we're seeing. The numbers that are taken to the streets, numbers of people that are taken to the streets in different parts of the country, despite the threats, the surveillance threats, and the various other threats that are being made against them for doing so.
Right. Well, looking at what is happening now and what has happened all through history. History, you were talking about the color of the skin of the people that were innocent people that were killed. And if you look at history, it has, regardless of our race, our background, immigration status, we're under one nation, one legal system where every individual, from the most powerful to a vulnerable child, shares the right to be in America. And our country was built on the core belief that a free society requires ordinary people to actively participate in their democracy. However, our national journey is so far from complete, and the full promises of the Constitution, it remains unfulfilled. And as long as millions of people continue to endure poverty, discrimination, and injustice due to their color or immigration status or our own civil inaction, we have only made it halfway toward realizing true equality for all. And I saw Lindsey Graham's statement, and he talked about the protection for the Israeli state. Well, what about what was a Palestinian state? Okay, what about the fact that Palestinians have been made stateless? What about the fact that Palestinians have had to dig mass graves and starve to death? And very few have been allowed to enter this country to file for asylum or statelessness. You have to be on American soil to be able to apply for these benefits. So something is really, really wrong, But I think that since President Trump was elected, the tensions have increased so much under his anti-immigrant policies, and most of those detainees are not have no criminal records whatsoever. But a man given a gun after ICE agents are given a gun after less than 6 months of training, without any education in justice and democracy, and he has murdered his own conscience by stripping away his ethical boundaries and his recognition of shared humanity. He falsely believes that he has the freedom to turn his gun on others. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing people that are not trained, that don't have a conscience, or how could you? How could you walk up to a window and shoot people in the head? How could you shoot people that are demonstrating peacefully, shoot them dead? There's something very, very wrong going on here. And I think that this issue is not going to be solved for a very, very long time, at least until the current administration ends. But in between, how much damage and death is going to occur? We have to ask ourselves that, because it could be you, it could be me, it could be a child, it can be anyone. And
on this current administration, comparatively, I mean, how does the Trump administration stack up against the prior the last two administrations, the Biden administration, the Obama administration? And if you have been following immigration law and practice, this whole immigration challenge that we have had as a country, even before you became a lawyer in this field, how does the Trump administration compare to previous administrations on this issue? And what are some of the cases? This is a two-part question. How does the Trump administration compare? And what are some of the cases that you've dealt with that really stand out for you?
I think that even though I don't believe that Biden was friendly to immigrants, he was not an ally to them, and Obama could have done better himself. Trump has exercised a kind of cruelty that is unprecedented. I think that the fact that he wants to have people in Congress that will vote for his type of brutality is an indicator on how far he wants to go. For example, the two senators, Democratic senators in Georgia, he is trying to invalidate the fact that they were elected. And the Supreme Court has been his ally, not an ally that speaks for the people. So he is really empowering himself to do whatever he wants to. And I see cases like this where judges, for example, there was one person that filed for bond. Okay, we filed a bond for him. And the judge said, I don't have any, I want to give him a bond, but I don't have the authority to do so. Who has taken away that authority? The Trump administration. Judges who approve too many cases are removed as immigration judges and replaced by judges who have the same political opinion. So it's like being in a boat with a hole, everybody is sinking. And all we can do is continue the fight until hopefully no one that resembles this administration returns. Yeah. That's the only hope it's kind of hopeless in a way. But regardless how hopeless it seems, we continue to do the work that must be done. We continue to fight, because if we don't, no one else is going to fight for the people that need help the most.
That's true. And Of the cases that you have had to deal with, are there any cases that really stand out for you? That stand out as
What,
cases that go ahead. I'm sorry.
what stands out for me, one case, there was a woman from Yemen,
From
and
where?
from Yemen.
Oh, Yemen. Okay.
And despite the fact that there's a war in Yemen, the judge wanted to deport her. Okay. And she had children. And the attorney for the government and we literally went at each other in the court. And the judge kept hitting his gravel on the desk. We heard nothing. We responded to nothing because she made my client cry. And I was livid. And I felt like I had to protect her rights. And we appealed the decision to the Board of Immigration Appeals and we were successful. But she suffered. She suffered not knowing if she was going to have to leave and how she would. Her children were American citizens.
Mhm.
If she would have to leave and what would happen to her children because of the dangerous situation in Yemen, she did not want to go. So that case, it hurt me a lot. And two of the most difficult cases we currently have three are women who have been victims of human trafficking, one from Mexico, Colombia, Honduras. And the fear that you see in their faces, having uncertainty about their future, it's overwhelming. It makes you want to cry, but you have to be professional, but you have to hold their hand and make sure that give them certainty that you're going to fight on their behalfs no matter what, because anyone who's a victim of human trafficking should never be returned to their country.
I agree. Yes, I agree. I mean, that should be a foundational principle.
And these are young women. And one case that really, stuck with me, and we're still fighting for her case. She came across the border when she was 13 years old. She was alone, and she was sexually assaulted by Border Patrol. And she was from Honduras. And somehow she found me, and I learned her story. And now she's about 20. I protect her like she is my daughter. I fight for her like she is my daughter. She has had the most difficulty of lives, and her mom sent her across the border and able to, for the purpose of working and sending money. And her mother eventually came. I haven't been really great toward her mother because she sent a 13-year-old across the border, but she suffered a sexual assault by people that were supposed to protect her. And her life, that has impacted her life, her ability to trust anyone, to get married, to just have a life that she feels secure in. And when I don't hear from her, every week I call her to make sure she's okay, because you have to take. Now, I have a habit of taking certain cases under my wing, and she's been one of them.
Yeah. Now, are you able to practice throughout the U.S. or just in North Carolina?
No, throughout the U.S. Because immigration is considered federal laws. So we now, alhamdulillah, we represent clients virtually. So it doesn't matter if they're in New York, California, It doesn't matter. Anywhere in the United States, you can represent a client in immigration hearings.
And how long has virtual representation been going on? How long has this been the case, that you can represent someone virtually?
Oh, that only began about maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Before, you had to be in that courtroom with your client. And of course, it was very expensive. But also, some clients, they are afraid to go into a courtroom by themselves. So what you have to do is to be with them, you know, to give them the comfort that everything is going to be all right. But I think that since there are, approximately 343 million people in the United States, there's enough of us to make them feel like they're going to be all right. They're going to get fairness and justice under the system, that their cases will be seen as they actually are instead of by prejudice and political aspirations. There are enough of us that not just immigration attorneys should have to offer that protection, but they should feel like they have the protection of society, just like those who were once processed at Ellis Island did, you know? But it seems like more modern and sophisticated the system becomes, the less compassion that is felt by immigrants. Instead, it's contempt. And it's not right.
You're right. It is not right. Inshallah ta'ala, what I want us to do, Brother Sadiq, is go to our second and final commercial break. And then inshallah ta'ala, there are a couple of other cases I want to bring to my sister's attention and just get her thoughts on, because I'm sure you've heard about it. But on that note, Brother Sadiq, let's go to the commercial. Inshallah.
Are you banking with convenience, transparency, and flexibility? With Al-Barakah Bank's transactional banking account, you can enjoy convenient everyday banking designed around your needs. Benefit from zero fees on point-of-sale transactions and manage your banking easily through Al-Barakah's secure mobile banking app and internet banking platform. From everyday payments to managing your personal or business banking, Al-Barakah makes banking simple, transparent, and convenient. Visit albarakah.co.za to learn more. Al-Barakah, your partner bank. Al-Barakah Bank Limited is an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Hey, Gulam.
Yeah?
Did I return your lawnmower last month?
No, bye, you didn't.
Oh, no. Now what'll I do? I wanted to borrow it again, man.
With Randry Jewelers, you won't have to borrow or lend because the prices are so well trimmed on all gold and diamond jewelry. Alternatively, we could remake your old jewelry into a brilliant new design. Visit Randry Jewelers at 151 Stevens Lamini Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randry Jewelers, a family name you can trust.
Tonight, a child in a shack will try to sleep through the cold. No heating, no insulation, just thin walls and a biting cold. African Muslims Agency is on the ground, reaching families in informal settlements across South Africa with blankets and winter essentials. Help us spread warmth this winter. For 180 Rand, give a blanket. For 360 Rand, a full winter pack. One gift, one less night in the cold. African Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, a dialogue on justice through an immigration lens is our focus for today. There are a couple of cases. These two cases are recent. They just happened a few months ago in February.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they were very, very troubling. One, immediately when I saw both of them weighed heavy on my heart, both of these cases. But one it just brought tears to my eyes immediately because it just made me very emotional because when I looked at the photo of this young lady, I thought this could be my daughter. This could be my daughter. SubhanAllah. The cases that I'm referring to, one involves a man by the name of Nurul Amin Shah Alam, a 56-year-old, nearly blind Rohingya refugee. He was found dead on February 24th of this year in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo gets real cold in the wintertime. February 24th. 5 days after U.S. Border Patrol agents abandoned him, they picked him up and then they subsequently abandoned him in front of a closed coffee shop. His death was officially ruled a homicide. He died from hypothermia, dehydration, and a perforated ulcer. Has there been any accountability for his wrongful death? Not to my knowledge. Now, this is the Rohingya brother, 56 years old, Nurul Amin Shah Alam. This was someone's loved one. His life was taken in that very horrific way. The second case, the one that, it just flooded my eyes with tears as I read the report on it. A young Haitian immigrant. Her name was Daffy Michelle. She was just 31 years old at the time of her death. She was kidnapped by ICE in February of this year. And she died from hypothermia days later at a bus stop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just 30 miles, about a 40-minute drive from her home. My understanding is that she couldn't speak English, and she was challenged. SubhanAllah. I mean, they kidnapped her. Then instead of taking her home or taking her to a safe place, they just dropped her off at a bus stop, at a stop, and just in the bitter cold of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And she died in much the same way as the Rohingya brother died. Now, the Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office ruled her death a homicide. But has anyone been held criminally accountable for it? Again, not to my knowledge. Not to this date. No one has been held accountable. Now, Congresswoman Summer Lee out of Pennsylvania. And I'm so glad that she won her primary. This is what she had to say about the death of this young 31-year-old Haitian immigrant. She said, quote, Daffy Michelle was a human being. She happened to be born on the other side of a border, but she was no less worthy of care, safety, and dignity. That should not have been a death sentence. Daffy's death was preventable and is the result of a violent system that cages people, surveils them, abandons them, dehumanizes them in life, and smears them in death to escape accountability. She deserved care, shelter, language access, and medical support. ICE and every agency that failed her must answer for this. And now, as more people die in and around ICE custody, their answer is not transparency, accountability, or care, but to stop reporting the deaths of recently released detainees altogether. We may never know how many more stories like Daffy's have been hidden by a system built to disappear people rather than pour billions more into the agency that murdered her. We must abolish ICE and build systems rooted in equity and basic human dignity, end quote. Your thoughts on this case and what this congresswoman had to say about it?
I think what she says is accurate, that they seem to be, there's a glass window or a glass bubble that protects people, that protects agents from doing these types of acts. Even with regards to Mr. Shaw, one of the government representatives said that state law prevents him from publicly releasing the autopsy and the report on the death. He said that he wished that he could release it, but it hasn't been released yet. And the county district attorney's office said that it had requested the autopsy report and would be reviewing the findings and evidence in the case. However, victims of misconduct by federal officials face significant legal challenges. Unlike state and local officials, it is notoriously difficult to sue federal officers directly for constitutional violations due to the Supreme Court decisions, even if the victim dies. So they're protected, but the people that suffer these types of abuse and death and unconscionable behavior by ICE agents, they are given a pass. They're given a pass. And I don't believe that that these people are going to be held accountable. And you know what? Even if they were held accountable, even if there was a trial, even if they were given some type of financial settlement, you can't bring the victim back. You'll never know what that person was going to be in the family and how much they were loved. Because one is the victim, The other is the victimizer, and the victimizer is protected by law.
Yeah.
ICE agents are part of the federal system. They can do whatever they want, okay? And they are protected by the laws, the current laws. And you were talking about voting. Shame on anyone that does not go out there and vote and do whatever they can to change the balance of power in the Senate and in the House.
I agree.
If they don't, then they are aiding and abetting the victimizer. So, I don't care how long you have to stand in a line, but these people died when they deserved to live and had never harmed anyone. So that's how I feel. And to assault, and kill someone who was completely defenseless, like the young woman, you have to ask yourself, what kind of person does this?
Yeah.
And they walked away.
Yeah.
They thought they could conceal their crime. They didn't want to be, punished. We will never know the names of the ICE agents who committed these crimes.
Yeah.
They're in a bubble. And everybody else is around that bubble.
Yeah.
And they're not protected at all.
Yeah, when no doubt when Donald Trump delivered that blanket pardon for all of the folk, the insurrectionists that participated in the January 6th storming and terrorization of Capitol Hill, when he issued that blanket pardon for them, he was sending a message. And no doubt many, if not the majority of those who were pardoned, found their way into the ranks of ICE with a feeling of impunity, and so it's really heartbreaking. Let me ask you this final question of the broadcast. Given where we are and given all that you've witnessed and experienced and had to go to sleep with at night, have you ever had any regrets for choosing this line of work?
Yes, I have. One of the biggest regrets is when the administration of Trump, the prior one, when he was putting children in cages.
Oh yeah.
We went to visit a facility in Texas and to, see about representing children. And when it became time to leave, the children grabbed hold of my clothing. And I told them, they recognized the scarf because they were from Libya. They weren't just from Latin America. They were from Libya. They were from Palestine. And they thought that we had come to reunite them with their families. And the hardest thing was walking out of there and leaving them there and watching them to cry. That was one of the most difficult moments of my entire career of representing immigrants. And I thought, well, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too painful. But then I say to myself, you have to do it. As long as you're needed, you have to do it. Because I think I would personally feel that I've lost my own sense of integrity. I've lost my own sense of justice. And basically, I'm copping out on the people that need me the most. And we also we try to raise money so that we help other people to become paralegals, go to law school, so that we develop a base, because this is what we need. We need a base, just like Americans should create a base that makes them strong and makes them to try to, redo the system. Attorneys need a base. And another hard thing is we represent children in immigration court. They have no parents. Half of them are not going to find their parents. And judges make decisions over their lives that put them in sometimes foster cares that are not even evaluated by social workers.
Yeah, and then we've had a lot of children that have disappeared as well through this unfortunate process. I'm sorry, sister, we are at the end of the broadcast. Is there any contact information you would like to share for anyone who would like to get in contact with you, inshallah ta'ala? Give for advice or to give you support, to give you material support for the work you're doing.
Our email is ed@masijc.org, and our phone number is 919-345-8105. And if anyone needs advice, please call. Don't think you're alone, because you're not.
Thank you very much, Sister Khalilah Sabra, for joining us today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect your heart and just protect what needs to be protected in order for you to be able to continue to do the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Jazakallah khair.
And on this note, we end as we normally do with Surah Al-Asr. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amalu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Which means, in the translation of the meaning, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the token of time through the ages, surely humanity is in loss, except those who believe and do good, and exhort one another to truth, and exhort one another to patiently persevere. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.